Good evening for me, and really good middle of the night to Isabel over there in Germany. This is Planetary Encodements, February 12th, 2024. It's a great year to be having a life in, I guess, because we're going through great changes. My name is Ray Ellen Sievert. I'm the light body astrologer, and I've been studying astrologers since probably, oh, I didn't know it back then, but since I've been like 7 years old, and that was back in 1957. Can you believe that? That's a long time ago. And I was really interested in astronomy books. Every time I would go to the library, I would beg my teachers to take out astronomy books because I used to love to look at the planets. I thought that that was like one of the most exciting things that I could do. I didn't know that it was leading to my love of the planets and our solar system. And I was always interested in the stars. I mean, ever since I've been a young child. And at that time, back in the 60s, and, you know, I think, oh my God, I can't think of that program. What was that program? I mean, all of you are too young for it. I can't, it was a space program, and they had this robot that went back and forth. I don't know, maybe Joe would remember it. I can't remember. Oh shoot, what was it called? Anyway, there was a family that lived in outer space or something like that, but that was in the 60s. So the reason I'm mentioning this is I used to look up at the starry night and say, come get me. I was one of those people. So I've had an interested in the stars and the star origins and all that since I've been a very young child. So that said, fast forward to the early 70s when I officially started studying astrology. I wasn't very proficient in mathematics. So I thought when I started taking astrology, which you had to calculate an astrology chart back then, you had to do it by hand and you had to do it by mathematics. And I was very poor in mathematics. And thank God there was the advent of the computer. And I would send away to California and wait a couple weeks to get my astrology charts. And I was in, oh my God, astrology heaven, looking at the charts and looking at the planets and how they defined different people. But that is Western astrology. And I am now going to a new level in 2024 of learning a new astrology. So all these years I've studied Western astrology, and there's different factions of Western astrology. But defining Western astrology, it's a wheel that looks like this. Okay. And you might know astrology by your sun sign. And Western astrology takes each sun sign and divides it into an equal 30 degrees. So there's 30 degrees, and it adds up to 360 degrees to make a whole circle. So there's 30 degrees in Aries, 30 degrees in Taurus, 30 degrees in Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So that makes up the Western astrology chart. But going through this in the last few years, I've been introduced to Vedic astrology, which is also divided in an equal 30 degrees for each sign. But Vedic astrology is 23 degrees different than Western astrology, and it's calculated by where the constellations are in the in the sky. So that's called sidereal astrology. So I thought, well, maybe that's the way to go. So Western astrology to me was like everybody knows their sun, many people know their sun sign. So then Vedic astrology, I felt like, well, maybe that Western astrology was defining who we were, and sidereal astrology was the study of our relationship of defining who we were on a soul level. But in the past few weeks, I learned about true sky astrology, which is true sidereal astrology, which is even different than sidereal astrology, which means that it takes the actual constellations in the sky at the time you were born. And the calculations are much, much different because these signs are not all equal. So, for instance, in the sign of Aries, there's only 18 degrees. And in the sign of Taurus is 41 degrees. Gemini is 29, Cancer is 20, Leo is 38, and Virgo is a whopping 50 degrees. So, how do we determine who we are looking at true sky astrology? So, not only did it change my perspective of how we can relate to ourselves in a different level, it's also taking an account of where the planets are in our solar system at any one time. So, it changed absolutely everything. Now, I was discussing this with my husband, who probably he's a scientist, he's a doctor, medical doctor. Everything is all about science. And I don't think until I met him, which was almost 20 years ago, I don't think he knew he was an Aries, but I don't think astrology mattered to him in the least. And being a scientist married to an astrologer, eventually being married to an astrologer, it changed his perspective because astrology is my life. It always has been my life. But what I am finding out is you can never step in the same river twice, which means life is always changing and we're always learning a new truth. So, Christina has talked very many times about the truth is the truth until it isn't. And within the last few weeks, I found out my truth of how I relate to astrology has completely, completely changed. So for the past 60 years almost, I've been studying astrology. No, maybe 50 years. It was like there was 20 years in there. I only knew astrology in one way. And now it's like I'm discovering astrology in a whole new way and how it is relating to us and how we can change our perspective of ourselves. So it's a possibility that maybe astrology never fit for you. Maybe it was quite off. I've gone to astrologers and they'll delineate my chart, which means read my chart. And I'm saying, that's not quite right. And, I would take events and I would for instance, over here in America, 9/11 was a big year. Okay, it was a big day in American history, and so I go back and I look at that, and many astrologers say that they can see what happened when that happened, but I can never figure it out. I'm thinking, this doesn't quite make sense to me. But you can hedge it and fudge it and do this and that to make it work. Now, I am very fortunate because Even though I've studied astrology, I'm also an intuitive. So when I look at your Western astrology chart, I have this inner knowing of relating to your vibrational system. So even though I'm looking at your Western astrology chart and maybe overlapping it with a sidereal Vedic chart, I can still understand what you are going through at the time. Now, none of this makes sense. I know it feels like I'm blabbing on, but I'm going to bring it full circle when we start talking about the transits that are happening right now. So, all of you probably know your sun sign. So, I am just going to give you some dates, and it's going to tell you what sign you're in with actual true sky astrology, what constellation the sun was in at the time of your birth. And I'm going to go over this, and then I'm going to bring it back to my husband because this is really important because I'm finding out that people are very, very, very attached to their birth date and the sun sign that they are. So the only reason I'm doing this is to give you, to stretch your perspective and know that what we think of the truth and how we define ourselves can be changed at any moment. We can wake up to new parts of ourselves. So, Aries, according to True Sky Astrology, is from April 21st to May 12th. The sign Taurus, May 13th to June 19th. Gemini, June 20th to July 16th. Cancer, July 17th to August 6th. Leo, August 7th to September 14th. Now, Virgo is like a big one. Virgo is September 15th to November 3rd. That's amazing. Libra, November 4th to November 22nd. Scorpio, November 23rd to December 6th. Now, interesting enough, True Sky Astrology brings in a 13th sign, which is called Ophiuchus. And Ophiuchus is December 7th to December 18th. It's not a very long degree, it's very short. But Ophiuchus, Scorpio is about birth, death, and like rebirth and all that. Scorpio is about depth. It's about, going into discovery of detective work. Scorpio is all about that birth, death, and they say sex, but sex it all has to do with birth and death and regeneration. But Ophiuchus is supposed to be about healing. It kind of takes over where you heard the sign, the planet Chiron. But Ophiuchus is all about healing energy. And people born during that time period have great healing capacity. Not to say that all of us do in one way or another, but okay, Sagittarius.
I'm sorry, Rael. And what was the Ophiuchus? When is it? December what?
7th to December 18th. And Ophiuchus is spelled Ophiuchus. Chus. Okay, Sagittarius. Here we go. All you Capricorns that think you are. December 19th to January 19th. What do you think? Thought you were Capricorn all along. Okay, Capricorn, January 20th to February 13th. So Capricorn is ending today and going into Aquarius. Aquarius starts February 14th to March 9th. And finally, Pisces is March 10th to April 20th. So I don't know if anybody changed signs. Can anybody say they changed signs?
Yeah,
Jerry did. Who else did?
I did.
What did you change to, Laurel?
Aquarius.
Oh my God.
Well,
Okay.
from Pisces, I'm March 5th. So I guess I got to Aquarius.
Yeah, Aquarius. Okay.
For 4 days. That's interesting. That's really strange because I'm not really technological at all, and I'm
But
not
it's strange.
really.
And
My brother is
Stacy,
Aquarius, and we're totally different.
well, I know, but this is like it really torques your brain here, you know. And Stacy, you're an Aries. Now, who would think? Now, I'm gonna blend all this together. Anybody else have a change of sign?
Yeah, no, I'm a Libra. I don't want to leave my Scorpio.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to because you still. Now, wait. Now, this is just your sun sign. You know, there. You have to know your astrology chart is not just your sun sign. It has to do with your ascendant. It has to do with all the other planets in our particular solar system. So even though you your sun sign may have changed, you might have other planets to define that. So Bev, you could have your Mercury in Scorpio, and that's the way you want to communicate on a very deep level, you know, that type of thing. Or you can have your Venus there or your Mars there. You can have other planets there. So, you know, we're not going to, you know, when I do this, we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater because we are everything. We are. But I'm just giving you a different perspective of a different energy that happens in where you are in the true constellations. Because what are we doing right now? We're waking up to truth. We're waking up to a new reality. And I'm going to blend all this together. Edna, what did you do? Are you the same?
I'm the same. I'm June 20th, so it's funny. I'm still a Gemini. So Aries is 4/21 to 5 what?
No. Yeah, to 512.
To 5/12, and then so Taurus is 5/12 to 6/19.
No, May 13th to June 19th.
19th.
Oh, May 13th. Okay.
Oh, my husband is a Taurus then. That's interesting.
Well, he's a good businessman, and you know they have their money. But now I'm only bringing this up because okay, we're gonna blend this, but
Can I ask you a question? Because I'm sorry that I was late. But what is this? What kind of a astrological calendar is this?
okay,
I'm sorry.
okay. Oh my God. I have studied Western astrology, the astrology that we know, 30 degrees in each sign forever. Okay. I have done that. So in the last few weeks, first of all, the last year I was introduced to sidereal astrology, Vedic astrology, which again is divided into 30 degrees. But in the last 2 weeks, I was introduced to true sky astrology. Okay. So it shows where the sun is in the actual constellation when you were born. Okay. The actual, if you were looking up at the sky when you were born, that was the actual constellation that was resonating with our sun. our sun's alignment. Okay.
What about the other ones then? They were
What?
not in the constellation. I mean, like the Western or the Vedic.
No. There's Western still exists. Vedic still exists, but what this is doing is back in probably 200 AD. Oh, what was his name? There was some great astronomer, and he decided to take each of the signs and put them in equal spaces. And probably he did that to divide them so it would be aligned with the summer and the winter solstice and the spring and the fall equinox. He wanted to make everything equal. It's just kind of like it made it more convenient because astrology encompasses a circle. It's a circle. So he decided to make everything equal. So there is a constellation of Aries and Taurus and Gemini, but in true sky astrology, Aries is a tiny constellation, and there's some gaps in between. Taurus is a smaller constellation, but Virgo encompasses almost 50 degrees. And Pisces itself encompasses almost, let me see how many degrees. I had this actual. Pisces is 42 degrees. I mean, so in true sky astrology. Now, the only reason I'm bringing this up, this is really important. What it do is it's taking you out of your comfort zone, isn't it? A little bit.
Little,
like
yeah.
I thought I was a Taurus, and now I'm an Aquarius. I mean, I thought I was a Pisces, and now I'm an Aquarius. Oh my God, I love my sign. Oh my, and that's why I want to bring it back to my husband, because I started explaining this to him, who has no interest in astrology at all. And I'm going to bring this back to what's happening in the sky right now. And that's why we all tune in. But my husband had absolutely no interest in astrology, except for the fact that he knew he's an Aries. And now he finds out he's a Pisces. And he wants to be an Aries. You know, I mean, he said, Raylan, I don't think you should be doing this. He says, I think you should go back to what you were doing, because I don't know if this is right. I mean, he's having the biggest reaction because we are so attached to who we think we are. And this is what this is all about.
Yeah, but isn't there, no, yeah, that's also, but there is also the fact that there were some characteristics about every signs that we kind of, that, I mean,
But
sometimes I can see those characteristics. And so if I'm not that sign anymore, then that characteristic, where does it come from? I mean,
well,
I don't know.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to encompass this. I'm going to tell you this. We're going to go into that.
Okay.
But right now, people are out of their comfort zone. Oh my God, I was a Pisces. I love being a Pisces. But you know, you are very Aquarian. You're very all-inclusive in some ways. But okay, so let's kind of get back to what we thought we were.
Can I just bring up something?
Yes.
I was listening to an astrologist the other day who was saying the only reason why we're so attached to our sun signs is when they started printing horoscopes in the newspaper, because they had to simplify it. So they simplified it for kind of Western society, and that's where we started to get attached. But before that, it was all about the ascendants and the this and the that, and it was never about just a sun sign, and our identity wasn't that. So it was an interesting take.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at Stacy, you're a Taurus. I mean, Taurus wants to hold on, you know, I mean, and now you're an Aries, but I see you as that Aries of like, come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Be a pioneer. That's what it's all about, you know?
Yeah.
But you still, okay, now that said, I took you out of your comfort zone saying that but we're a blend. It does not erase the fact that in Western astrology, you're a Pisces. It does not erase that because you have that conditioned program within you. All of us have been conditioned to be a particular sun sign. We have society as a whole has been bringing forth the energies of each of the constellations of who they thought they were for over almost 2,000 years. Mm. So it is a program. It's a program of trying to compartmentalize it into a way of being.
You know what's interesting, Ellen? That just came to my mind that I never really were into astrology at all. And now in the last year, we went from Western astrologies to Vedic astrologies and now to through Sky Astrology. So basically, we changed everything in the last probably a year and a half. And so, yeah, that's pretty interesting that everything has changed so quickly.
It's interesting. It's everything, but we are in a time of rapid change. Rapid truth is coming forward. Truth is coming forward. So it doesn't erase any of that other overlay. It doesn't at all. But what you can do is overlay it. Say, okay, I had this overlay of being a Pisces where I'm ultra sensitive. I'm a mystic. I'm a dreamer. I use my imagination. I'm intuitive. I'm psychic. I have all that. But on the other hand, you take that psychic ability and bring it to an Aquarian level of how you can scientifically utilize it. Mm-hmm. So you blend it to a new level. We're waking up to parts of ourselves that have been dormant and asleep forever. And that's what we're doing. We're waking up to the truth of who we are. And if you think that all of you are having a breakdown about this, me, who has been doing this and doing readings for many years, thinking that I have to totally change the way I'm relating to people and talking to them about who they think they are and how they are going to utilize their harmonics in taking their challenges and utilizing and putting it in a new perspective. That's a big job. It's like everything I've ever done and known is now being totally torqued.
Yeah, kind of. Mm-hmm.
Because this is my passion. This is who I am. And right now, I found out the galactic center. I always thought it was in Sag. So the galactic center is the center where our whole Milky Way galaxy revolves around. Okay. In 2012, apparently we aligned with the galactic center. And a bunch of other systems aligned with the galactic center. All of this happened. So I'm finding out the galactic center is in the sign of Ophiuchus. And Ophiuchus is the Milky Way galaxy is about being born into the system, the Milky Way galaxy, to embrace the experience that we have at this time and heal ourselves at a very deep level. And all of that is waking up to our inner truth because it's really close to Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is all about truth. Because if you're very close to the cusp, of any of these signs, then you're a little bit of both anyway. So I don't know, Bev, how close are you to being a Libra and a Scorpio?
I'm like at the first day of Libra, November
Right.
4th. That means I'm more.
Oh, you're the first day of Libra? Oh my God.
Yeah.
November 4th. Oh my God. Okay. Well, that's interesting.
So then I could be part Virgo.
Well, what you are, you're very precise in what you do. Think about that. You know, my moon, now listen, my moon was always in Scorpio. And in Western astrology, I got to tell you about the Scorpio is about birth and death. It's about sex. And everybody wants to know, like, how does Scorpio supposed to be the sign of sexuality? But it really isn't. It's about transformation through constantly going through a near-death experience, death and rebirth. So if you think about sex and you conceive, you have the ovum and you have the sperm. They come together and they create something totally different to birth something new. That's what it's all about. That's what Scorpio is about. So my moon was in Scorpio, 0 Scorpio. And when I was born, my mother had a near-death experience. And she actually went to the other side of the veil and she met her grandmother there. But being a little baby being born on a psychic level, I was all attached to my mother's near-death experience. So that was very symbolic of my Western astrology Scorpio moon at 0 degrees. I thought, oh my God, that really explains my Scorpio moon. But in true sky astrology, my moon is in Virgo. And I got to tell you, my daughter doesn't like to take me anywhere because she says I'm too picky about everything. You know, everything has to be precise. I want everything in its place. I'm really picky about the food I eat. That's all Virgoian energy. I mean, and it's really on one level, I do have that Scorpio where I want to go into the depth of things, but I also had that Virgo quality. So now we're going to take this to another level. Okay. Is Susan here yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, so what did your sun sign change?
I didn't hear the beginning because I just checked into a motel. So,
Oh, okay. Okay, so when were you born, Susan?
so May 19th. I'm 27 Taurus. I don't know if that helps
May
for
19th.
sun.
It's
Yeah.
still Taurus.
Oh, so you're still a Taurus. May 19th is in that so you're in true sky astrology, you're still a Taurus.
Well, that's good.
And what about Jim? What is his birth date?
He's October 13th.
Virgo.
He's a Virgo, yeah.
He's a
He's
Virgo?
Yeah, it changes him to a Virgo.
No.
I know. We're all attached. We're all attached. I mean,
Well, no, I don't see it, but
well, is he precise about everything that he does?
no,
No?
no.
Okay. No, maybe not. I don't know. Well, we all have to figure this out. Well,
I have a dad who's a Virgo, so I think about a man Virgo being like organized, but also compassionate, cares about people, likes things the way they like things. I don't know, just some things.
Yeah,
my dad.
I mean, I have a daughter that's that. I don't, yeah. But anyways, that's in the old astrology. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Okay, so is this just like a lens? Is there something that time-wise that makes the lens change? Like what was appropriate?
Yes, I'm gonna get into that. I'll get into that, and then I'm gonna take us to what's happening in the sky right now with true sky astrology, and kind of, so it's gonna give you another perspective of what the transits are in our sky right now, why we are in the reality that we are at this time. So,
can I say
um,
one thing?
yes,
It seems to me lately that like the stars are holding all kinds of information, like their records. And so it's just a matter of connecting to, we could connect to all of them, but sometimes it's highlighted. Does that make sense?
yes.
Okay.
So this true sky astrology really started, it's not that it wasn't around, but it really started to be coming to the forefront in about 2016, from what I understand. Now, sidereal astrology, Vedic astrology, has been around thousands of years because in Eastern society they use Vedic astrology a lot. Okay, and then when they Westernized it, the whole chart was different, and I'm not even sure the origin of Western astrology. But anyway, it's just as I think of Vedic astrology is more of the astrology of the soul, and Western astrology is the astrology of our everyday world around us and how we perceive things, and all that. But the way this is calculated, okay, this might be too complicated, but you see all the pictures of the world tilted on an axis, and you have this line going through the middle of the earth, and it points to a particular pole star. Okay, and every 1,000 years or so, a couple thousand years, it changes to a different pole star. Now, so as the is spinning, there's a process called the precession of the equinoxes. And this whole circle that this line goes around, like in a conical way, takes about 26,000 years. So, in the process of this changing, it means that our sun, even though it's moving around the Milky Way galaxy and our Earth is moving around the sun, it's also our sun is being aligned to different constellations as this is happening according to the precession of the equinoxes as the Earth is spinning on its axis. So it changes a degree every 72 years. So that means that everything is always changing. We want to make things really simple where everything's the same, but that's the mistake. Everything is always changing. So what's happening with true sky astrology, it's showing where the sun is in relationship to the exact constellation in the sky on Earth according to the precession of the equinoxes. So another 200 years from now, it's going to be totally different. It will change a couple degrees. So I know that's complicated, and I don't know how much you want to take that in, but it's changed that way. So in Western astrology in 2008, Pluto went into the sign of Capricorn. And I'm bringing Pluto in because that's what's happening now. Pluto is and even though the scientists wanted to diminish it to a dwarf planet or whatever it is, Pluto to me still works in astrology. It is, to me, the planet of divine alchemy. And when you look at Pluto, it looks like this. It reminds me of the goblet, and then there's this little circle in it. And to me, it reminds me of divine alchemy. It means that through the process of us going through constant death and rebirth as we live our lives, where we're open to a particular way of thinking. And then as time goes on, it keeps on transforming. It keeps on transforming. It keeps on transforming. That's the only way that we can live. Living energy is not stagnant. And like I said, we can never step in the same river twice because it's always, always moving. And we are on this constant stream of living energy, of being introduced to something, assimilating it, and letting it go. The programs that we wake up to, they serve us for a while, we experience them, and we outlive them. We keep going. And the times that we try to hold on to those different parts of ourselves that need to be transformed and changed, we go through probably deep pain, or we create stagnation in our body and develop disease and disharmonies in our body or disharmony in our relationships. You know, if you're in a relationship and it doesn't keep changing and growing, it becomes stagnant and old, and it just withers, you know, on the vine. So we're always in a process of transformation and transcending situations, you know, going from the top, going to the bottom. It's all a sine wave. It's all a sine wave. So that said, Pluto rules the collective of all of humanity and probably of all the civilizations that live through our particular solar system. But we're just discovering who those beings are on the different planets. But in relation to humanity, in relation to the living beings, in relation to any of the beings that are inhabiting planet Earth, Pluto represents the divine alchemy of what changes we are going through. Now, in Western astrology, Pluto ingress that moved into the sign of Capricorn in 2008. Now, if we think about Western astrology, if we think about 2008, it was a big year that in the United States, and I don't know about Germany so much, but I know that there was there was financial collapse. A bunch of systems that were not in harmony with what was going on decided to collapse. Now, going into Capricorn, Capricorn is all about, let's see, oops, integrity. It's all about accountability. It's all about, let's see, I have this here. It's all about structures, the structures that we live in, the structures, how we structure our life. You know, who runs particular systems, you know, it's all about structures of our education. It's structures of the medical system. It's structures of governments. It's structures of how we relate to the environment. It's structures about how we relate to our military, the media, and the health field. So since 2008, all of those have been coming up for us to look at and decide if they are appropriate for us or not. So over the past 2008 to now, let's see, I don't know how many years that was. 12, how many, 2008 to now? I'm not very good with 2024, 8. So 16 years.
16 years, yeah.
Yeah. For the past 16 years, what Western astrology has been revealing to us the structures that are out of balance. the structure. So in Western astrology, what it does, I am finding out, is a foreshadowing to the reality of us taking actions to actually change something. So we have been alerted around us to what changes must have to happen in our lives to bring us into a symbiotic relationship with the world around us. God bless you. So, as we speak this week, within the last 2 weeks, in true sky astrology, Pluto has moved into Capricorn. Now, in Western astrology, it's already in Aquarius. Aquarius rules, technology, inventions. It has to do with genius. It has to do with uniqueness. It has to do with our goals of how we can work together in harmony with each other, friendships and groups and organizations. It's the Aquarian age, which we are moving into. So in Western astrology, as Pluto goes through foreshadowing all that we are going to be accomplishing in 20 years from now. But right now, for the next 16 to 20 years, in true sky astrology, Pluto moving into Capricorn, people are going to be stepping forward to actually make changes in our healthcare system, to make changes in how we relate to the financial systems, make changes of what type of government we want to be in. Now, to top it off, Mars, which is the initiator and the activator, is moving into Capricorn right now. So I happen to be bringing this forth. And maybe it is not anything that you have ever thought about before, but now you are going to be viewing the world around you. Just recently, I think on Rise of the Multidimensional, or maybe it wasn't on that, but it was on something I just read. This young person, Starseed, was showing how he could take plastic bags and make it into fuel to run automobiles, changing it in. So there are going to be, in the next 20 years, people actually taking action, what we have been alerted to, and all the dysfunctions of what has been happening in society at this time. Now, I hope that makes sense to you. So we, as a collective right now, are actually going to view actual changes taking place. A lot of people, because they have been alerted to the education system, don't agree with it. So they're choosing to homeschool their children. They want to educate their children in a way that helps them grow into actually learning and not following the rules of how you should learn. It's not about a standardized test. It's about finding out about nature. What is the reality of the world that we live in? What is the reality of the Pachamama? What is the reality of waking up to what is happening in our global environment that we live in, and educating children into having ways of, there's this educational system where they blindfold the children and they can read books. So it's education about children developing that innate psychic ability of being able to see, not just with their eyes, but seeing with all their senses. And they are there in the next 20 years, they are going to be humans stepping forth and introducing this, and hopefully it won't be shut down by the rules of how we are supposed to do things. And that is the big battle that's going on right now. The battle of holding on to structure that has been stagnant, of this is the way, and it's not living energy. We are going in and moving into a financial system that is living and helping each person. Maybe it's bartering, maybe it's this, that. I have this, you can have that. There are groups of people popping up everywhere that are building little systems where they are all working together like this. Like going back to the old way of the Aquarian age is all about respecting each person's expertise. So going to the person who is the high educator in herbology or plant medicine, or going to someone who's saying, well, you know what, if we do it just this way, we can work together. It's a financial system that's helping everyone. So the governmental system was everybody kind of like taking their own responsibility for how they're going to relate to the group as a whole. And that is a great transformation in the structure that's happening right now in true Sky Astrology. But going back to Western astrology, it was the foreshadowing of what was not working. And as we speak, and as I'm talking about this, we are on the precipice of this right now. It's just beginning, and we're actually seeing it occurring. Just the fact that I saw something, a few weeks ago of how people were cleaning up the oceans, taking the plastic in the oceans and pulling it out because, we have been not very aware of how we have been so dysfunctional of the environment around us, and we're waking up to our dysfunction and how it's not appropriate to damage the environment that we live in. I'm kind of thinking instead of electric cars, there's going to be hover cars. I know that there are a few people working on that. It doesn't have to be electric, because as far as I'm concerned, electric cars are utilizing the precious elements that help the Pachamama to do her job. So when they mine that out, short-circuiting her energetic system. Going in and taking out all the lithium. Oh my God. Lithium is in the planet for a particular reason. And if we mine that out without being totally aware of what that is, and the only way we find that out is when we mine it and it's depleted, and then we find out there's an imbalance in the planet. So we're waking up. That's a new educational system. So I don't know. This is Pluto going into Capricorn. As we speak, the transiting moon in true sky astrology is in Pisces. And in regular astrology, the one that Western astrology, that's actually in the sign of Pisces. So both of them are it's all in Pisces. It's all about taking this to a deep level within ourselves and waking up to the web of the deceptions around us. Waking up and in the dream and actually lucidly taking action. A few of us have had the opportunity, and I've only think I can remember one lucid dream I had where I was in a dream and I knew I was in a dream. But lucid dreaming is having a dream that you are asleep at night and you're waking up in that dream and know that you are dreaming. But taking that to a level, we are all walking in a dream right now. We're all walking in a trance state. So if we can wake up within this dream of like where I am now and where you are now, if we're waking up and know where we can take action and find out where our true desires of who we want to be and become are, that is the most important thing we can. So we're waking up to the truth of where we're really going. And many of us in this group and many groups around the world have been decoding, and any programs within ourselves that no longer serve us are dying so that we can accomplish this and go into a, a creative living energy of how we want to navigate and bring in this new process of being. Mine happens to be taking my study of astrology and bringing it to a new level of how I can interpret what's really going on in the world around me. And I have a lot of work to do. I mean, this has been my life. And I'll never, I mean, you don't ever throw the baby out with the bathwater. That Western astrology gave me a working vocabulary. But now I'm going to take that vocabulary and apply it in a whole new way that can actually serve the people that anyone I encounter. So that said, it's giving each and every one of you something to think about. You know, I'm not trying to upset the apple cart and tell each and every one of you that you're in a new sign. But what you're going to do is take what you thought you were, decide how much of that you really are, and integrate and overlay something that might be a new awareness of who you can become. Develop a truth of who you really are. And taking all those parts of you that you thought you were and really looking at those harmonics and see how they've served you, see if they're still serving you. And if they're not, you know, you're moving to something different. And we're doing this anyway, but it's consciously doing it. It's going to happen anyway. But I'm just giving you a few tips of waking up to another part of it. That's what it's all about. I've been kind of rambling here. Does anybody have anything to say? I mean, so far?
I do. So do you think because, I mean, true astrology would be true for this time, this moment, this, you know, it'll be something different later. So do you think the signs, the constellations are holding undiscovered perspectives or
Well, that's a really good question. Yeah. We're going to discover what that is. I mean, okay, think about this. If the majority, okay, a large amount of people are Virgos, believe it or not. Some people that were Leo are really Virgos, and some people that, let me see, what was the actual thing? So what I've come to conclusion with, okay, so because in true sky astrology, everything is not divided equally in 30 degrees. I've been contemplating this. I mean, it's really getting my mind moving. So that said, I'm thinking there's very few Aries, actual Aries. So there are so I'm thinking of that was all of humanity, and there's only a couple Aries, but there's a lot of Virgos. What does that mean? There's also a lot of Pisces. So I'm thinking, going through history, how many true pioneers are there? Now, Aries can be very egotistical, but they also can be very innocent and want to jump in where people fear to go. They want to take action. They can be impetuous. They can jump into things and say, oh my God, how did I get here? I mean, I was thinking Lewis and Clark, who went across the United States, they started on their journey. They were pioneers. Anybody who went up into space, they're pioneers. They have Aries energy. That's Aries energy. But those people go out, investigate, they pioneer, and they come back and tell people, hey, this is what I've discovered out there. What do you want to do with it? And Virgos will say, well, I think we can improve on it this way and this way and this way. All those Virgos out there. And the Pisces say, well, it's giving me insight and new dreams of how we can accomplish this and bring this together. So we have the dreamers out there that are going to bring it into reality. And then we have a couple Libras and saying, well, we got to tweak it here and tweak it there so we can harmonize it and balance it. And then the Leos say, well, okay, I think we can put this together and we can create this, and this, and we can decide how we can make it interesting for everyone to look at, So, I mean, Cancers, there's a few Cancers say, well, we have to nourish it little by little so that we can bring it forward. So this is how I'm seeing this, it's like a whole new way of seeing how humanity will work together. So yes, I think that, well, in our lifetime though, unless we start living a couple hundred years, which I think will happen in the future, we just haven't gotten there yet. Our true sky astrology chart apply pretty much to our lifetime and what we're going to be working on. And our Western chart is going to affect us. I mean, we had that overlay. It's always a foreshadowing. It's what we came in with and what we're accustomed to. And it can be actually our Western astrology. And let's see, I'm brainstorming here. I'm waking up to new realities. I can't say I know, but wonder if our Western astrology chart were all of our old programs, all of our way that we brought in from our lineages, from our mother, our father, and our starseed origins. Wonder if those were the programs saying, hey, this is what you are, this is what you have, what you have to work with, what you brought forth. So you're working on that and you're finding out what works and what doesn't work. You have gifts from past in your lineages. And wonder if you start discovering your true sky astrology where you're saying, this is where my soul really, really wants to go. This is where I really, really want to shine. This is that dream I had when I was a child of becoming something, because it's the truth within you, but it's been covered up by all these programs of what you think you are, what you're supposed to be, what your family tells you you're supposed to be, what society tells you you're supposed to be. True sky astrology can give you the opportunity, also with your Vedic astrology, with your starseed origins, of what your potential energy is and how that's going to be activated. See, I'm only here to get you thinking. I don't know the answers. I'm just giving you a different perspective of how the harmonics are affecting me at this time. We want to go to the soothsayer, we want to go to the astrology to give us where we're going and how it's going to happen and predict the future, you know? We can only give insight to the potential of the future. We can maybe read the sine waves a little bit more accurately going through. You know, we come in.
Maybe the old Western astrology was to throw off our rhythms, like Christine talks about. And I always thought it was stupid that some months are 31 days and others are 28 and some are 30, when the moon cycle is always 28 days or approximately 28 and we have 13 months. And so
Yes.
I just thought, and how, so maybe all these constructs are to get us off our rhythms, so we have a harder time tuning into who and what we are inside.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What you said was one of the thoughts I had, and I couldn't remember it. So you jarred it loose. Wonder if the beings that govern our planet gave us, these are how you should be, the rules to be. And it's kind of like, and we're waking up and we're having illumined thoughts of saying, oh my God, this really isn't the way it is. But it's that old structures. So thank you. You're waking up. You're right. So you're already thinking that, and like I said, it still works. You know, we have a lot of people that go by it, but it's an overlay, and use it as a foreshadowing. It's not the actual reality. And the actual reality is living, moving, constantly flowing energy of what is true today may not be true tomorrow. It's always that. And you're going up and down. Yes, it's true.
I'm thinking we went to a planetarium yesterday, and they're talking about how we used to think that the planets moved in a circular motion. So we had an idea of how things worked, and that idea was the overlay on the construct of astrology. So then they're saying, no, it's an ecliptic, and you know, there's more time in one place than the other. So now we have another idea. Now, I don't know if that idea is the ultimate idea or just another idea. But if we hold that, so what was astrology when the earth was flat and the earth was the center, and it had to be a different system. So it's a reflection of how things appear to us or what we believe.
It is. So I'm only here to kind of like shake up your thought forms to potential new thought forms and different ways of being. So let's just close our eyes for about five minutes or so. Or we're gonna kind of go in. And I don't know, Isabel, if you know what a Viracocha is. Do you know what a Viracocha is? Okay, it's a golden sun. You know, you're familiar with the energy centers in the body, right? Okay, this is one of the energy centers. It's a kind of the eighth chakra it can be, but it's a golden sun that's over your head. Okay, we're gonna focus into that golden sun over our head, and it's usually about an arm's length over your head. Okay, so everybody focus on that golden Viracocha over your head, your eighth, that the sun, that eighth chakra, or energy force. And this is the force of your connection to the one source that's the one that no one can actually even know or see, but is a part of us. And we are part of it. It's everything you always, always have been and always will be. Bring this golden light and slowly bring it down to cocoon your whole physical body, to cocoon you in that brilliant golden light of who you are. Now bring your attention behind your closed eyes. It's like as your eyes are closed, you are looking out from behind your closed eyes. Notice being behind your closed eyes that there is a force that's animating this biosuit, this physical body, and that is your true essence that animates every single part of your physical, emotional, and mental being, so that you can experience the world around you in the way that you best know how. So, cocooning your body is your eternal life force, the all that is, and it interpenetrates in through your physical body, your emotional body, and your mental body. But its greatest spark is within the heart, your physical beating heart. So, going within your physical beating heart, notice that spark that animates and brings the experience of you walking and experiencing the 3D plane that we live on. But know that even though this spark animates your relationship to this 3D physical plane, it also is experiencing multi-dimensional planes of who you are in all dimensions, beyond time and before time was time. Feel that spark that animates all that you are. Know that you are witnessing your state of being in this moment in time. And this witness is going to ask this spark and essence of who you are a simple question. If you could express yourself in the world and worlds around you without any limits whatsoever, without any baggage whatsoever, without any hindrance whatsoever, and what would you be? And you are not even hindered by any voices that tell you it's impossible. There's possibility in all that you can express. And if you can feel this vibrant, energetic, brilliant life force within yourself and acknowledge it in all its potential and possibility, you can dream this into being, whether it's in this lifetime or future lifetimes. But you are acknowledging that true seed that you came to exhibit to all of the universes, all of the galaxies, all of life. That spark is what you can express. And if you cannot define anything in this moment, you can hold this question. And before you go into your dream state this evening or the next few evenings, ask that question. Who am I and what do I truly desire? Each of us may experience this in different ways. We may have a body sensation. We may see colors. We may see sacred geometry. We may hear the music of the spheres or harmonics. We may get an actual answer. But embrace what you are being told. If you experience a sense of the void, that's an excellent place to be because your potential is far beyond that you even know. And you haven't consolidated that into an actual step into your truth. And know that you are in the formulating stage of your self actualization. So take a deep breath. Embrace whatever has been revealed to you. Hold it dear to your heart. And know that this is your truth. You are the guardian of this great gift. And bringing this forward to the light of who you are, affect all that you encounter with. And know that energy follows thought. So take this great treasure and bring this truth to the light of who you are. When you are ready, bring your attention up to the center behind your closed eyes and give yourself great gratitude for being the most courageous, dynamic being that you are. That diamond light of the all that is, and your expression that is being brought forth. When you are ready, you can wiggle your fingers and toes, and you can slowly open your eyes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mhm. Thank you, Ellen. That was beautiful.
Well, oh my gosh, such an exciting time. We look at the world around us and I guess it depends on your perspective, but I see the form around us dissolving and we are creating something new. We're in that transformation. We are the great builders of our future, the future of the unknown that's never been. Woohoo!
Yeah.
That's cool. And I was calculating, Ray, I was calculating, you know, each sign, and it's like there's 49 days that you can be a Virgo. And the smallest amount of time, 11 days for a ficus. And
Yes.
Scorpios only have 13 days to be a Scorpio. Like, it's interesting how they're all, it'd be interesting to see how that fits in the new world, the new.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, we have
Yeah.
the pioneers and we have the people that are going to be the creators and the nurturers, and who's going to come forth with what. And, you know, Virgo is all about purification and it's purity, and it's, you know, it's critiquing so that we can tweak, you know, it's not criticism. That's the dysfunctional use of it. It's all about critiquing our everyday life so we can grow in the greatest ways. It's, you know, it's all about our everyday life and how we're living it, walking on the earth barefoot and grounding ourselves. And, you know, Virgo's very, very nurturing, you know. It's people always see the dysfunctional qualities of it, but oh my God, Virgo, they're the health caretakers, you know, they're the ones that gonna make sure you get the right herbs and vitamins and drink the right smoothies and make sure you have the right nutrients for your body, you know.
Cool.
The healers.
You know, I have to say that my sign, you know, Aries, matches identically my numerology, my personal year in numerology.
Wow.
So it'd be interesting to see how, if that connects with anyone else. Because I'm a 1 in numerology, which is all about leadership, which is all about initiation. It's all about, you know, starting it, the spark, you know, initiating, not necessarily having to be the one to follow through, but passing it on for others to follow through, you know, all of that, innovation, all that.
Yeah, see, Stacy, you always think you're a Taurus, but that's your foundation. You want to get value before you go out there. But the fact of the matter is you do have that leadership. You have all of that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm an 8, so you know,
And 8, are you still a Cancer? Or are you something different
I'm
now?
still a Cancer. I'm a Cancer. But my moon changed from Scorpio to Virgo. I told you that.
Oh.
That's why I'm so picky about everything. Yeah. You know, like I got everything in its place before I can do something. You know, clutter drives me crazy.
And 8 is your relationship to money and power.
Well,
So I'm thinking of Cancer with that. Anyways, it's interesting. We'll have to explore that more. That'd be really interesting to see. Yeah.
Well, thank you for all being here. And I hope that I jogged your comfort zone a little bit.
Yep, yes, you did.
We're looking, the trick is to eliminate the web of deception to go into our truth. The web of deception, the web of our past dreams, so that we can open up to the star beings that we are, you know.
And now for something completely different. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Isabel from Germany, you know, spending this time with us. I really appreciate you being here at your late hour. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
I thank everybody, but I know that this is way past your bedtime. So thank you.
It was my choice. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. And next month we're going to be talking about how astrology is intertwined with the year of the wood dragon.
Yay.
Yay. So we're going to intertwine the dragon energy and the sky energy, I guess. Okay. Take care. Blessings to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray Ellen.
Bye-bye. Oh, I got to stop recording.